Welcome to the Roost. Every month, I put together some very special TTRPG content in a video. Sometimes inspiration strikes at the oddest moments, but I usually feel the most inspired by my fellow creators. So this month, I'm going to build an enemy stat block based on a character animation I saw on social media. Check them out in the description below, leave a comment to let me know your thoughts, and let's get to it. Alright, so we're going to start off by creating a enemy stat block. I might dive into more of like an NPC kind of stat block in a minute, but I want to start first just creating a general enemy. Like this guy was a guard, town guard or knight or something like that. And I think knight is probably a pretty good preset if it's on here. I do like using D&D 5e stat block generator. It has this really nice looking clean stat block, and it's really easy to use. You just kind of make your inputs here. There's a couple mini little things like the hit dice that are hard to control because it's based off of the challenge rating, but other than that, it's pretty easy to use, and you can save it as a couple different options too. You can print it out as a PDF, you can use it as an image, and you can save the stat block as well. So you can always go back to edit it, which is nice. So let's look for a knight. Knight comes after. Okay, here. I like that. Okay. Let's take another look at this guy. For this enemy, I was inspired by an animation I saw by Arthur Munoz. I'm only going to show some clips here. He has a whole portfolio. He posts a lot of animations on his Blue Sky, so go check him out. Link in the description below. But let's take a quick look at the animation that I saw that we're going to base this character off of, this enemy. Okay, so the first thing that I'm noticing is that this guy has two heads, and he also looks kind of skeletal. So those are the two things that I'm looking at. So I'm thinking skeletal, maybe the wisdom goes down. Maybe he's undead, not a humanoid. So let's actually, and he's also pretty big. So let's say large, thinking maybe an undead Goliath or something like that. And we're gonna say undead. We'll come back to the name, but for now we'll just call him an undead Goliath. Let's say chaotic neutral. I'm liking the whimsy of flinging an axe around. He didn't look that armored to me, but this beefiness I think has its own kind of natural armor. It doesn't have a shield. This is definitely a two-handed weapon. Hit dice, he's pretty beefy, so I'm gonna say 10. I think stat block, again, this guy is pretty intense, so I'm gonna say challenge rating somewhere around 8 or 9. Let's go with 9. 9 has a proficiency bonus of +4. So let's just quick update this real fast. So as you can see, now it says Undead Goliath. So like I said, really easy to use this tool. I like the hit dice at 10. It's a D10, so that works for me. Armor class, I don't think he has plate mail. I think it's natural armor. Or maybe it's like piecemeal plate mail. You know what? I'll keep it at plate mail. I like the 18 armor class. I think that's fine. So let's think then about the ability scores. Strength definitely has to go up. I'm thinking easily 18, maybe even a 20. Dexterity can stay, I think, at an 11. Maybe wisdom goes down to a 9. Charisma, this guy can be pretty intimidating. I'm gonna say 16. And again, this is a CR 9, so it's okay for this guy to have some decent stats. So I'm gonna put his con up, and do I want to keep the intelligence where it's at? Maybe a +1 to intelligence. And then do I keep the charisma where it's at, or do I put it up again? You know what? This guy's crazy. He's got a +6 to strength. And I think the other things, the con and the charisma, I think are good for now. For saving throws, it has to be strength. It has to be strength proficiency. I'm thinking X fighter, which would be dexterity, but at this, and he's undead. Maybe Constitution instead of Dexterity. Let's see. Constitution is for things like sickness. I think he's already kind of diseased. Ooh, what was he? He was diseased. Let's do proficiency in strength and constitution. Now for skills, definitely athletics. Sometimes I like giving my guys, my enemies, especially monsters, expertise in things that, because monsters don't generally get expertise. But at least for now, we'll just keep it at proficiency. I don't think he's very stealthy. This guy is big. He clomps around like a motherfucker. Intimidation, yes, for sure. And I think that's pretty much it, honestly. He's not very magical. He definitely is more, has more weapon prowess. I think that's good. Maybe performance, honestly. With that axe, he could be like an ex-gladiator. But we'll keep it right now for athletics and intimidation. And maybe we'll give one of them expertise later. Condition immunities. Okay, now this is a big guy. So I don't think he can, I think he'd be blinded and charmed. I think this is fine. Deafened, exhaustion. I don't think he could be frightened. Although, what's the rule for turn undead? Is turn undead frightened? It is turned for 1 minute until it takes any damage. So it has the same, well, it's not really the same. It literally has to move away instead of can't move closer. So I think it could be immune to fear. It would make sense for this guy to be immune to fear. He can still be charmed, but definitely not frightened. I don't think anything else here. Immune to poison? He's CR9, so having some, maybe resistant to poison. That's a condition immunity. I think damage resistant, poison, and necrotic. I don't think any damage immunities. Maybe he has a vulnerability. I don't think we use vulnerabilities enough. I think he's vulnerable to acid. And then, you know, he's undead, he's high CR, he's immune to non-magical attacks. I think that's pretty good. I think undead, he doesn't need any special sentences. I don't think he's legendary. I think this is just kind of a normal monster type creature. And now, okay, see, so X-Knight, advantage against being frightened. I think immunity to fear is fine, but I'm not going to have that as an ability. I think multi-attack is good. That kind of captures that swinging axe thing. We're gonna edit this greatsword. It's going to be a giant axe. Maybe a giant's axe? Just for flavor. It's gotta have more than a +5 to hit, no? It's +9, easy. +9 to hit. Reach, it definitely has to be a reach of 10 feet or more, maybe 15, but I'll keep it at 10 for now. And then this has to be the for damage. I mean, a great axe is a d12. I'm gonna say 2d10. And then +6 slashing damage. We're gonna get rid of the range. He doesn't need a crossbow. He doesn't need leadership. This guy doesn't have any allies anymore. All of his dudes are dead. I think for a multi-attack though, he makes 3. Again, with this kind of swinging thing. And I think he has to have a special attack. Maybe it's a melee attack. Ooh, you know what it is? It's Action Surge. He definitely has Action Surge. And it's not here as a preset. And we're gonna say once. He's only CR9. Once per long rest. Does he get a reaction? Okay, so I like the 3 melee attacks. I like the Action Surge. It makes this guy like dangerous. His hit points are pretty low considering. Can I up the hit points? I'm gonna up the hit points. CR9. Let's just look for a second at other CR9 creatures. Starspawn Hulk. 136 hit points. Let's look at something at 8. Look at a tyrant. Also 136 hit points. Okay. Spirit Naga. 135 hit points. Yeah, this guy needs more hit points. It's a Fire Giant, 162 hit points. Fire Giants also have intense strength. Con is also way up there. I want some sort of like special throw. Like, we've got the reach, right? Reach 10 feet or 15. I like the 15. I gotta make it 15. I mean, really, look at that thing. It's got such like a huge range and it drags along the ground. Ooh, terrain. There should be something with terrain in this. That could be a separate action. I wonder if there's a pound or a slam. That's the other thing. All the presets, while they're there, they're not extensive. So as much as I enjoy having them here as an option to choose from, they're pretty limited. So I have to either have like the monster manual in front of me if I'm looking for something specific, or I have to make it up myself, which is fine. Ooh, siege monster. Double damage to objects and structures. Yes, for sure. I'm also we're gonna call it ground pound. Monster slams its axe on the ground on a 5-foot area of ground within reach. Any creature within, I'm thinking about the way it tore up the ground there. Any creature within 10 feet must make a dexterity. Is it dexterity or is it strength? I'm gonna say strength. A strength saving throw. DC 17 or be knocked prone or knocked 5 feet back. I'm gonna say be knocked prone. There has to be some limitation on material, right? If the ground is anything but metal or magical material, the axe tears it up and it becomes rough terrain. That is an action. And then I don't want the parry. I do maybe want a reaction, but I don't want it to be a parry. What if I gave it something like Sentinel? Would that be too overpowered? It's like thinking of something like a weapon with a wind up. Ooh, what if that's the thing? What if there's an ability actually not if, the monster may forego up to 2 attacks to deal an extra 1d10 slashing damage. Is that too much? I kind of like it though. I think I like this. I like the siege monster. This guy is big, he's large. I like the undead. I need a better name for him than just an undead Goliath. It kind of sucks. I like this idea of like this piecemeal plate armor for him. Like he was abandoned, he was risen after a major defeat. Something about like vengeance. Almost like a patron of the undying brought him back. Do I do undying or do I do undying, undead, spirit of vengeance? Spirit brings in more like ghost stuff though, and I don't really want that. This is like a zombie dude. Unyielding. Ooh, unyielding zombie, or I think this is like a unique guy, right? He's not like everybody's raising this kind of monster. This is it. So he's known as the Unyielding. Does he have like an Eric the Unyielding? He doesn't have like a name, right? Oh, hit points. Hit points have to go up. With a name like the Unyielding, he should kind of have an intense constitution. So maybe the constitution goes up to 18 or 20. And that brings it to 136. I think that's pretty good. He's got a high strength, high con. Everything else is pretty low. He's undead. So he's vulnerable to things like turn undead. Like I said, got a low wisdom. He's got a relatively high charisma, but he's immune to non-magical attacks. He's resistant to necrotic and poison. He's got a vulnerability to acid, just because I like to throw that in. Immune to fright. He's got an action surge, which is pretty intense, so he's dangerous for sure. And he's got this siege monster and ground pound ability to affect the terrain. And I think he has to be able to move through that terrain himself. So maybe I add that. Is it freedom of movement? Maybe that's it. Maybe it can't be restrained. Unyielding. That's got to be it. And that's our creature. So he's got this movement. He's got this ground pound and terrain ability, and he's got this wicked axe. That's the Unyielding. So thank you so much to Arthur Munoz. Keep creating those things. I was super inspired, and I hope to be able to use this Unyielding guy in one of my games coming up soon. That's all for this video. If you enjoy this content, subscribe to the channel and let me know what other TTRPG content you want to see. Catch you in the next one.